The show has received a great response. I mean, 100% fresh, Rotten Tomatoes, a really nice score rating on IMDb. As an actor, do you ever kind of set a benchmark of where you're hoping a show or, project will succeed? And how has that been with Primo and the really great response you've received?
Yeah, I feel like well, first of all, you put something out, you definitely it's always going to be a balancing act between the critics and the audience. And thankfully, the critics they immediately came out with some they striked with some really positive stuff. So we were happy about that. And now, but now I think it's just a matter of, like, for me, getting outside of my bubble and starting to see people like bring up Primo or bring up like lines from the show. Like, that truly, to me, is the most rewarding, right? Because it truly is, I mean, you have to respect both, but there's something about a person that watches the show gets really excited about it and wants to tell you in person if they see you respectfully. But yeah, I think that's usually a good hallmark of successful show.
So. Yeah. And what do you think especially has resonated with viewers about the show?
I think the family dynamic, I feel like there's something, even if you didn't have that many uncles, I feel like there's something about, like, that messy love that comes from family. Seldom is it neatly packaged or nicely presented. It always comes, the roses come with thorns, if you will, if I can use that.
Indeed. Yes. I think we can all relate to that. So I like I said, I've been talking to some of the other actors who play uncles and been inquiring about, do they have any sort of comedy background? Clearly you have a comedy background. If anyone looks, up information about you.
What were they saying? What were they saying?
What are they saying out there? Funny. That's what it says.
Thank you.
So do you have a particular sort of medium in comedy that you like the most, like improv, stand-up, doing TV?
I mean, it's honestly, they're all tools in the handbag for me.
Okay.
And I enjoy them individually. Like, it's almost like, because of, like, the way that my career has kind of, like, presented itself for me, it's always been kind of like seasonal. Like for example, stand-up, I picked it up again strongly about 2-3 years ago, and it's always been like on and off. But because if I'm not doing stand-up, then I've been very heavy at Upright Citizens Brigade for like a long time. It's like doing a lot of improv and sketch out there. And if not, I was, acting or hosting. So it's always been part of the thing, but they're very equally fulfilling. And I mean, improvising is a really, it's one of the first things that when I first came out here, that I did Second City, I started like learning about it. I mean, obviously I love that so much, but also stand-up is just so different for me. And it's just I'm in there. I'm like, I'm just
it's
like
all
in that
good.
frequency. And I love it. Yeah. They're all my babies.
Well, speaking a little bit of improvisation, I understand from some of the other actors that there was some ad-libbing allowed in the show.
Sure. Respectful ad-libbing, yeah.
Yes, of course. Is there any ad-lib section in particular that you could share with me that you're particularly happy about from your character, from Uncle Ryan?
That made it on the show?
Yeah.
I think off the top of my head, I think the LASIK line, I think I improvised. When I'm talking to Janice, when the frenemy, Janice and I think that was one of the, I think but I can't really think of, I'm sure I snuck some stuff in there. But it was such a collaborative space. It was really so much fun. That's
good to hear. Did you get much input or guidance from Shea Serrano on his Uncle Ryan?
No. He was very clear about even if it's based on his life, we weren't trying to make a biopic.
Right.
So we never we just barely got to see what they actually look like. I mean, I think he kind of separated. He made sure that we were comfortable, because I think he understood that can definitely create some kind of a pressure on the actors if you're trying to emulate somebody. And honestly, for me, my way in with Uncle Ryan is it starts with the writing. So I don't and it's definitely a weight lifted off my shoulders when I don't have to sound or look like somebody. I
Yeah,
think I trust that they put together what the character was going to be like based on the writing, so I just kind of went with that,
right.
and I think that's the way to go. But when we do the documentary, then I will
There you
totally
go. That's a different
go and do
story,
the research with the
different
actual
version.
Uncle Ryan. Yeah, I'll shadow him. I'll shadow him for a week or so I can mimic him.
Cool. Well, I have to say, I kind of identify quite a bit with Uncle Ryan. I mean, I did
Wow,
study business um, in school. I won't say whether I got a certificate or a degree because that really doesn't
okay.
matter,
That's
right? Doesn't matter.
just the paper. Just the paper.
The paper. Um, but also I have a 21-year-old son. So, and in doing, writing about TV and podcasting and stuff, I feel like I kind of need to know the current lingo, what's hot out there, things like that. So I will bug him sometimes, what does this mean? What is this referring to? And sometimes he's cool about it. And sometimes he's just like cringe. I don't want to talk to you about it.
He was like, "No,
But
I'm done teaching
yeah,
you."
yeah. So yeah, but it's really been fun following Uncle Ryan because I can kind of just a few things I relate to. Not the mustache, that you can't go
Right.
there, but some other
Yeah.
other things. So and another funny thing that's happened in my household, you were talking about the writing and people picking up lines and sort of referring to them maybe on social media and so forth. I kind of have the feeling that cancel culture might get sort of absorbed into the vernacular as a general expression of frustration. Because this happened
Yeah.
in my household. I was talking to my husband. I don't remember what we were talking about, but it was just kind of frustrating. And at the end, I was like, cancel culture. And he's like, mm-hmm. It's like we both knew, we both got it, and it's like, so
Yeah.
let's go beyond what cancel culture really is. I think it's got a shot at just,
I think
being,
so. I feel like, especially on Twitter, a lot of people, yeah,
yeah,
that's,
yeah, hashtag cancel culture.
yeah, 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 yeah.
that
That's
that
great.
that played out so well. And I like the long running jokes that go through the series. Like after you've watched even just a few episodes, there's things that repeat and come up again, and I think that's
Mhm.
really, really strong and makes it even that more funny. So I've been telling the other guys I have kind of a theory in
Oh,
my head about all the uncles having like their own special superpower or gift that they want to offer to Rafa. And I feel like Ryan's gift would be opportunity. Do you think that's pretty accurate? Would you go with that?
opportunity in terms of like your
I
life
don't
is ahead of you.
I think it can go lots of ways. Like obviously he has an interest in financial opportunity, with his job, but just going maybe outside the box or not putting a limit on what you can do, just that kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah. That's a very nice way to say it. I've kind of it's a very honorable way to say that. I think
Okay.
Uncle Ryan just likes is certain search of status. I think that's where kind of his character comes from being
Okay.
the
We could
youngest.
go with that. Yeah.
But opportunity, listen, that's very let's say that as opposed to like searching for for
Yeah.
status and importance within the societal construct that is the hierarchy of social whatever the standing social
Sure.
standing. Yeah,
Yes. Yes. Yeah. We
but that
put it.
comes from opportunity. You're right.
Yes, it
Yes.
does. It does. We can put that spin on it for sure. So Game Champ, obviously amazing. I'm sure you've gotten a lot of feedback about, that episode. Could you tell me a little bit about like sort of the choreography of that scene? I mean, just because there were a lot of props and there was some movement and
Yeah,
can you tell me a little bit about it?
but just like playing the board game in
Yeah, well,
itself.
just kind of putting that scene together because with the different props, having to grab the right props and well, we're doing this part
Uh,
now and so many pieces.
props to the prop people. They really
Yeah,
they really went off because we were just like trying to make sense of it. It was like I wanted to know enough about the thing so it looked like we were 100% confident about what we were doing. But yeah,
sure.
it's like at some point, and people have vetted, they should come up with the game at some point because that'd be
Oh,
really interesting
please, please.
to come up with the actual game champ so we can get it at Target someday. But no, I think it was just like we were kind of like I wasn't worried about the overall as Uncle Ryan or as the actor. I wasn't worried about the overall. I was just kind of worried by about each segment, and hopefully when
Okay.
you put it
Yeah.
together, it sounds like we know what we're doing
Yeah. Yeah.
because it was a lot. It was a lot. It was great. It was like so expansive. It
Yeah.
was
Well,
yeah.
it it,
The
it played
design,
very
all
well.
that. It was so the attention to detail for the actual game board,
Yeah.
the game.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a
But
lot of fun too, a lot of nostalgia, seeing all the games, maybe you played as a kid and then the ones you play as an adult all in there together. It was just like, oh yeah, that game. It was just, it
yeah, yeah.
was, it was a lot. It was very cool. So another thing I really like about the series is that we get lots of different pairings of uncles, or Uncle and Rafa, or an Uncle Andrea. And so it's just a lot of different combinations in different scenes. Is there a particular combo or pairing that was maybe one of your favorites in season one
Um,
for
yeah,
Ryan?
like our Uncle Ryan. Yeah, I feel like we had. So I had a pairing with Mondo's character, or with Efrain's character, Mondo.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't feel like we had like a strong one with. Did I have a? I don't think I had a strong one with Uncle Rolly. Did I? We never really shared like a story. I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so. I
I
actually
think
made a lot
everybody
of
was kind
notes
of
because
united. I think it was more of like everybody uniting to just crap on Uncle Ryan, which I think is great.
yeah,
This is the bonding. I think the general idea, Jay calling me out as a bank, as a teller, or
right.
or Uncle Mike calling me out for my certificate. I think that's part of like the dynamic. I
Yeah,
think that's fun. It's like very much like the younger brother. You put your younger brother in your place, kind of like dynamic.
sure,
So I feel
sure.
like that's the most, yeah, I think the most, I think it probably was the Mondo, the fireworks, I think was the most like I was like sharing,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
was a lot of, yeah.
I did make some notes, and you did have an awful lot of pairings with Jay. And then, of course, we have Mondo and the fireworks, and Mike with the
Yeah.
certificate.
Yeah.
One
Yeah.
that
With
was,
Jay.
yeah,
Yeah.
one that was much, briefer. It was just a small spot, but it really was funny. Was about whether birds get tired or not. That was
Oh,
just so
yeah. Yeah.
funny. That was
Yeah.
that was really good. I
Yeah. Yeah.
like that one. So is there a pairing or a combo that you might like to see more of that you didn't really get to do in season one?
Yeah. I definitely like to see what a Uncle Rolly, Uncle Ryan mix would look like, and an Uncle
Mm-hmm.
Ryan and Uncle Mike for sure.
Yeah,
That'd be lovely.
yeah.
That'd be a fun
Okay.
one. But it is
We
true. I did more with Jay than anybody. That's a good
yeah.
observation.
Mhm.
I had mostly Jay, a little bit of Mondo, and really not much with anybody else.
Yeah. But we
So
definitely want more. So
I'll be talking to Amazon Freebie about this, and I'll
okay.
bring it to the
Take my
supermarket.
notes with you.
Yes, I'll bring it
Okay, I
up
have
to them.
a few rapid fire kind of questions just for fun here towards the end. Um, Big Gonzalez Family Barbecue was a great episode. What do you, Carlos, think is the best menu item that someone can bring to eat at a barbecue?
Ribs.
Ribs. That was a solid
I didn't even have to think
answer.
about it.
Yeah.
I was waiting for you to. I
Yeah, you
didn't even
knew it was
get that
coming.
in a sentence.
Okay, now this is regarding the actors. So who do you think, Carlos, which actor in the cast do you think would be the toughest opponent in a real life round of Game Champ?
Ooh, like competitive wise,
Yeah, yeah.
Henry for sure.
Okay, okay.
Henry's very competitive, and
Yeah, okay. All right.
he has that competitive streak. He gets passionate about winning.
Okay, good one, good one. Now, thinking about the character of Drea, what award would you, as Carlos, give Drea for the Wall of Accomplishments and Praise?
Just holding the family together,
Oh, yeah, she's the
keeping
glue.
keeping the
The
whole
glue.
family together.
Okay.
The Keeping the Family Together award brought to you by also Whataburger.
Yes, also. That's funny. So if you could give just a brief pitch for Uncle Ryan as the favorite of the uncles. I mean, nobody can really pick a favorite, but if you wanted them
Yeah.
to pick a favorite, what would your pitch be for Uncle Ryan?
So before I say my pitch, I'd like to say that I understand that as uncles, we are basically a Rorschach test, a personality puzzle, if you will. Everybody gets to find themselves in the uncles. It's like a horoscope. It's like your Harry Potter house. But having said that, I understand how some people might be annoyed by Uncle Ryan, and some people might love Uncle Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
And who am I to argue with that? Because you're all right. But I will say Uncle Ryan comes from a really a really sincere place. Even though
Yep.
sometimes he gets out of it, he comes from a very insecure place of trying to be validated. And so if you can understand that that's where it's coming from, you can have a lot more love for the things that he does and he says sometimes.
Yeah, you can relate to that. It's the relatability for sure.
Yeah.
That's a good pitch. I like that one. And I am on the love Uncle Ryan spectrum of things. So, well, thank you so much for taking some time with me. I really enjoyed talking to you, and just can't wait to see what might be next, and hoping for a season 2. Would love to hear some news about that. So
Hope so.
All
Hopefully
right.
I get more interactions with the rest of the uncles.
Yes.
Per request.
Yes, per request. Love it. Thank you, Carlos.
Cheers.
Bye.